February 15, 1943. Kasserine Pass, Tunisia. 14 hours. Oberfeldwebel Klaus Zimmermann, 35, Wehrmacht Motor Pool Chief, watched American Jeep roll into German repair depot. Captured 3 days earlier. Driver, dead. Gunner, captured. Vehicle, intact. Zimmermann had been maintaining German military vehicles since 1936. Opel Blitz trucks, Kübelwagen light vehicles, BMW motorcycles, SDKFZ half-tracks. He understood automotive engineering, knew what made vehicles reliable, what made them break. His assignment: evaluate captured American vehicle, document capabilities, identify weaknesses, report to Oberkommando des Heeres, German Army High Command. He walked around the Jeep. Willys MB. Quarter-ton cargo capacity. 4-wheel drive. 4 cylinders. 60 horsepower. Wheelbase 80 inches. Ground clearance 8.25 inches. Weight 2,453 pounds. German equivalent was Kübelwagen. Volkswagen chassis. Rear-wheel drive. 25 horsepower. Weight 1,040 pounds. German vehicle was lighter, simpler, easier to build. Cost 40% less. Used 30% less fuel. By all logical measures, Kübelwagen was superior design. More economical. More efficient. Better suited to mass production. But this captured Jeep had odometer reading 3,247 kilometers, over 2,000 miles, in North African desert, through sand, rocks, wadis, mountains, combat conditions. Zimmermann opened hood. Engine was dusty but intact. No oil leaks, no coolant leaks, no loose bolts. He checked maintenance log found in glove box. American maintenance record. Showed oil changes every 1,000 miles. Minor adjustments. Nothing major. He started engine. It caught immediately. Ran smoothly. No unusual noises. Exhaust smoke normal. Oil pressure good. Temperature normal. Zimmermann had seen Kübelwagens after 2,000 miles in North Africa. Most needed engine overhauls, transmission rebuilds, suspension replacement. This Jeep appeared ready for another 2,000 miles. What Zimmermann discovered over next 2 weeks would convince German High Command that American automotive engineering had achieved something they couldn't match. Not technical superiority, operational superiority. The Jeep was simple enough to be mass-produced and rugged enough to outlast vehicles costing twice as much. By February 1943, German forces in North Africa faced logistical crisis. Italian supply ships were being sunk by Allied submarines. German supply lines stretched 1,200 miles from Tripoli to front lines. Fuel shortages limited operations. Vehicle maintenance consumed 40% of maintenance time. Wehrmacht used 8 different vehicle types for reconnaissance and light transport. Kübelwagen, Schwimmwagen, BMW R75 motorcycle, Steyr 1500 car, Horch 108 command car, SDKFZ 250 half-track, Kettenkrad tracked motorcycle, Opel Olympia sedan. Each vehicle had specific role. Kübelwagen, light transport, Schwimmwagen, amphibious reconnaissance, BMW R75, dispatch and scouting, Steyr 1500, officer transport, and so on. Each vehicle required different spare parts, different maintenance procedures, different tools, different specialized training. German Motor Pool had to stock 847 different spare parts to maintain these 8 vehicle types. American forces used one vehicle type for all these roles. The Jeep Willys MB and Ford GPW, identical design, interchangeable parts, single spare parts inventory, one training program, one maintenance manual, one set of tools. This simplified logistics enormously. German mechanics needed training on 8 vehicle types. American mechanics needed training on 1. German supply depots stocked parts for 8 vehicles. American depots stocked parts for 1. German maintenance time averaged 2.3 hours per vehicle per week. American maintenance time, 0.8 hours per vehicle per week. The multiplication factor was significant. German armored division had 200 light vehicles, 8 types, required 8 specialized mechanics. 24 maintenance hours weekly per mechanic. 192 total maintenance hours weekly. American Armored Division had 200 Jeeps. One type. Required 3 mechanics. 16 maintenance hours weekly per mechanic. 48 total maintenance hours weekly. German division needed 4 times the maintenance labor for same number of vehicles. Those extra man-hours came from somewhere. Fewer combat soldiers, or longer working hours for existing maintenance crews. Zimmermann's captured Jeep represented this efficiency perfectly. He spent 2 weeks testing it. Drove it 500 additional kilometers through desert. Overloaded it with 800 pounds cargo. Drove through sand, mud, rocks, forded streams. Climbed 30-degree slopes. Never lubricated chassis. Never adjusted engine timing. Never replaced parts. Jeep kept running. His February 28 report to OKH contained this assessment. American quarter-ton vehicle demonstrates remarkable durability. After 2,000 miles combat operation plus 300 additional test miles, vehicle requires only routine oil change and minor brake adjustment. Engine shows no wear. Transmission shifts smoothly. 4-wheel drive functions normally. Suspension components intact. Body shows combat damage but structure sound. Compared to Kübelwagen after 2,000 miles typical service, requires engine overhaul, transmission repair, front axle replacement, suspension rebuild. Estimate 40 man-hours maintenance. American vehicle requires 2 man-hours maintenance. This 20.1 maintenance advantage multiplied across thousands of vehicles represents significant operational superiority. Report was filed. Then largely dismissed. Kübelwagen was cheaper, used less fuel. German industry could build 3 Kübelwagens for cost of 2 Jeeps. Economic analysis favored Kübelwagen, but economic analysis didn't account for maintenance labor, didn't account for spare parts inventory, didn't account for operational availability, and didn't account for versatility. Zimmermann discovered the Jeep's versatility accidentally. On March 3, 1943, Zimmermann's captured Jeep was assigned to transport ammunition to forward positions. Standard procedure: load 500 pounds ammunition, drive to front, unload, return. But vehicle bringing wounded back to aid station broke down. Zimmermann was ordered to transport 6 wounded soldiers. Jeep wasn't ambulance, had no stretcher racks, no medical equipment. German medics improvised, laid 2 stretchers across hood, secured them with rope, laid 2 stretchers in rear cargo area, placed 2 walking wounded in passenger seats. 6 casualties total in vehicle designed for 4 passengers and cargo. Zimmermann drove 40 kilometers to field hospital over rough terrain. Jeep handled overload without problem. Wounded delivered safely. Vehicle returned to normal duty. This flexibility impressed Zimmermann more than durability. Kübelwagen could transport wounded, but required removing seats, installing stretcher frame. Converting vehicle from transport to ambulance configuration took 2 hours. Converting back took another 2 hours. Jeep required no conversion, just loaded casualties and drove. After delivery, loaded ammunition and continued mission. No downtime, no specialized equipment. Complete flexibility. Over next week, Zimmermann used captured Jeep for ammunition transport, casualty evacuation, command vehicle for reconnaissance, towing 37mm anti-tank gun, mounting captured American .50 caliber machine gun as mobile fire support, communications vehicle carrying radio equipment, supply transport carrying rations and water. 7 different roles, 0 modifications. Just load different cargo. The Jeep's simple open design made everything possible. No specialized body, no fixed configuration, just flat cargo area and attachment points. German vehicles were specialized. Kübelwagen, transport only, SDKFZ 250. Half-track only. Schwimmwagen, amphibious only. Each vehicle optimized for specific role. This meant high performance in that role, but 0 flexibility for other roles. American Jeep was optimized for nothing, adequate for everything. This adequacy across multiple roles made it more operationally valuable than specialized vehicle with higher performance in single role. Zimmermann's report expanded. American vehicle's greatest advantage is versatility. Single vehicle performs 7 different roles without modification. German equivalent requires 7 specialized vehicles. This reduces vehicle inventory requirements by 70%, reduces spare parts inventory equivalently, simplifies maintenance training, accelerates repair times. Strategic impact. American forces require 1/3 the vehicles to match German operational capability, require 1/4 the maintenance infrastructure. This is force multiplier of approximately 3.1 operational advantage from vehicle design alone. This report reached OKH in March 1943. Generated interest. Request sent for additional analysis. But by then, Zimmermann's Jeep was gone. March 18, 1943, during British attack at Mareth Line, Zimmermann's motor pool was overrun. Captured Jeep was recaptured by British 7th Armored Division. Returned to Allied service. Zimmermann evacuated with retreating German forces. Never saw Jeep again, but his analysis was complete, and it matched analyses from other captured Jeeps examined by German forces in Russia, Italy, France. All concluded same thing. American Jeep represented operational superiority through simplicity and durability, not technical superiority, operational superiority. The Jeep's development began in July 1940. U.S. Army request for proposals. Specifications: vehicle weight under 1,300 pounds, payload 600 pounds, 4-wheel drive, 3-seat capacity, foldable windshield. Cost under $700, $135. Companies received specifications. 3 submitted bids. American Bantam Car Company, Willys Overland Motors, Ford Motor Company. Bantam built first prototype in 49 days. September 1940. Army tested it. Worked perfectly. Exceeded specifications. Army ordered 70 pre-production vehicles. But Bantam was small company. Production capacity: 1,000 vehicles annually. Army needed 40,000 vehicles. So Army gave Bantam's blueprints to Willys and Ford. Told them, build improved versions. Willys redesigned engine. Increased power from 45 to 60 horsepower. Strengthened frame. Improved suspension. Result: Willys MB. Army tested it November 1940. Ordered $16,000. Ford copied Willys' design exactly. Changed only minor details. Result: Ford GPW. Army tested it March 1941. Ordered $15,000. By December 1941, Willys and Ford were producing 300 Jeeps per day combined. By December 1942, 1,200 per day. By December 1943, 1,600 per day. Total wartime production: $640,000. Jeeps: Willys built 368,000. Ford built 272,000. Average cost: $748 per vehicle. German: Kübelwagen production, 50,000 vehicles total. Schwimmwagen production, 14,000. Combined, 64,000 light vehicles, 1/10 of American Jeep production. This 10.1 production ratio meant American forces had numerical vehicle superiority that overwhelmed German advantages in individual vehicle efficiency. Germans had better fuel economy. Americans had 10 times more vehicles. Better fuel economy didn't matter when opponent had overwhelming numerical advantage. But production quantity alone didn't explain Jeep's success. Key was durability enabling sustained operations. Average Jeep service life in combat theater: 18 months or 15,000 miles before major overhaul required. Kübelwagen, 8 months or 8,000 miles. Jeep lasted twice as long. This meant half the replacement rate, half the shipping capacity needed for replacement vehicles, half the production allocated to replacements versus new vehicles. Over-engineered durability multiplied force effectiveness. 640,000 Jeeps produced with 18-month service life meant 426,000 Jeeps operational at war's end. 64,000 Kübelwagens with 8-month service life meant 21,000 operational at war's end. Ratio: 20.1 Operational advantage. What made Jeep so durable was design philosophy. Simple enough that nothing complex could break. Rugged enough that simple components survived abuse. Jeep engine, 4 cylinders. 2 valves per cylinder. Side valve configuration. Cast iron block. Forged steel crankshaft. Bronze bearings. Mechanical fuel pump. Simple carburetor. Distributor ignition. No complexity. Nothing to fail. Compared to German Kübelwagen engine. 4 cylinders. Air-cooled. Aluminum block. Magnesium crankcase. Ball bearings. More efficient. Lighter. More economical. But more complex. More failure modes. Harder to repair with field tools. Jeep transmission. 3 speeds forward. 1 reverse. Synchronized second and third gears. Simple gear selector. Transfer case for 4-wheel drive. No synchronizers in first gear, didn't need them. Rugged enough for combat abuse. Kübelwagen transmission. 4 speeds. All synchronized. More efficient. Better fuel economy. But synchronizers were precision components requiring specialized repair. Jeep transmission could be rebuilt with hammer and wrenches. Kübelwagen transmission required machining equipment. This repairability difference meant Jeep stayed operational longer in field conditions. Kübelwagens needed depot-level maintenance for major repairs. Jeeps could be repaired in field with basic tools. American maintenance doctrine. Fix it forward. Repair at lowest organizational level. Squad mechanic could repair Jeep engine with toolbox and manual. German doctrine. Repair at depot. Kübelwagen with major failure went to division motor pool. 2-day turnaround minimum. Jeep availability rate, 92%. Kübelwagen, 78%. 14% advantage meant American unit with 100 Jeeps had 92 operational. German unit with 100 Kübelwagens had 78 operational. Numerical advantage was 18% before accounting for production volumes. This operational superiority changed doctrine. Before Jeeps, light reconnaissance vehicles were specialist equipment. Limited numbers, assigned to specific units, protected from unnecessary risk. After Jeeps, reconnaissance vehicles were consumable resources, abundant, disposable, assigned throughout organization, used aggressively. General George Patton's Third Army in France. 1944, 5,000 Jeeps. Used for everything. Reconnaissance, command vehicles, ambulances, gun tractors, supply transport, mobile anti-aircraft mounts, messenger runs, troop transport. Patton's doctrine. The Jeep is most flexible vehicle ever built. Does everything adequately. Does nothing perfectly. But adequacy in quantity beats perfection in scarcity. German response came from unexpected source. After war, automotive engineers from Volkswagen were interviewed about Kübelwagen design, asked why German vehicle wasn't as durable as Jeep, despite being newer design. Chief engineer Erwin Komenda explained, "We designed Kübelwagen for efficiency, lightweight, low fuel consumption, economy. These were correct priorities for 1938 when design began. But Americans designed Jeep for durability, heavy frame, robust engine, over-engineered components. They sacrificed efficiency for reliability. In combat, reliability matters more than efficiency. We optimized wrong variable. Post-war analysis proved this. U.S. Army calculated that Jeep's total cost of ownership was 30% lower than Kübelwagen, despite higher purchase price. Lower maintenance costs, longer service life, higher availability rates, reduced spare parts inventory, fewer replacement vehicles needed. Kübelwagen cost $450. Jeep cost $748. But Kübelwagen required $380 maintenance over 8,000-mile service life. Jeep required $290 maintenance over 15,000-mile service life. Per mile cost, Kübelwagen 10.4 cents. Jeep 6.9 cents. Multiplied across 640,000 vehicles over 15,000 miles. Average. Jeep saved $336 million in maintenance costs compared to equivalent Kübelwagen fleet. That $336 million was enough to build additional 450,000 Jeeps. The Jeep wasn't cheaper vehicle. It was more economical vehicle. Different calculation. German engineers understood this after war ended. During war, they optimized for wrong metric. Oberfeldwebel Klaus Zimmermann survived Tunisia campaign. Evacuated to Sicily May 1943. Captured by Americans July 1943. POW until 1946. Returned to Germany. Worked as automotive engineer for Mercedes-Benz until retirement 1975. In 1968 interview for German Automotive Journal, asked what he remembered about captured American Jeep. His answer, "I expected to find crude vehicle, simple design, cheap construction. What I found was elegantly simple vehicle built to last. Every component was overbuilt. Frame stronger than necessary, engine more robust than required, suspension tougher than specification demanded. Americans designed vehicle assuming it would be abused. We designed vehicles assuming they would be maintained properly. In combat, abuse is guaranteed. Maintenance is uncertain. Americans optimized for reality. We optimized for theory." Interviewer: Could Germany have built equivalent vehicle? Zimmermann: Technically, yes. We had automotive expertise, had industrial capacity. But we designed specialized vehicles for specific roles. Americans designed general vehicle for all roles. Our approach was more efficient per vehicle. Their approach was more efficient per operation. Operations are what matter, not vehicles. We learned this too late. Willys Overland Motors, which designed and built majority of Jeeps, didn't survive war economically. Company never earned significant profit from Jeep production. Government contracts barely covered costs. Company went bankrupt 1955. Assets acquired by Kaiser Motors, but Jeep design survived. Kaiser built civilian Jeeps. American Motors bought Kaiser 1970. Continued Jeep production. Chrysler bought AMC 1987. Continued Jeep production. Fiat Chrysler formed 2014. Still, building Jeeps today. Original 1941. Willys MB. Design, updated, modernized, but fundamentally same. Concept. Simple, durable, versatile, adequate. For everything, last military Jeep was produced. 1985. Replaced by HMMMWV. But civilian Jeep production continues, 80 years after original design. That's longevity unprecedented in automotive history. Model T produced 19 years. Volkswagen Beetle produced 65 years. Jeep, 80-plus years and continuing. That longevity proves original design got something fundamentally right. Not most efficient, not most economical, not most powerful, but most operationally useful. That usefulness transcended specific military requirements, became universal transportation solution. Today, original military Jeeps are displayed in museums worldwide. Most famous, Patton's Command Jeep at Patton Museum, Fort Moore, Georgia. Still runs. Original engine. 47,000 miles on odometer. Museum placard reads, General George Patton's Jeep. Traveled from Normandy to Czechoslovakia. 3 years continuous operation. 0 major repairs. The vehicle that proved simplicity beats complexity. There's larger lesson here. Jeep wasn't revolutionary vehicle. Didn't introduce new technology. Didn't break engineering barriers. It was conventional vehicle built with unconventional philosophy. That philosophy, design for operational reality, not theoretical ideal. Combat vehicles will be abused, will be poorly maintained, will be overloaded, will be used beyond specifications, so design for abuse survival, not optimal use. How often do we design for ideal conditions that never exist? German Kübelwagen was brilliantly designed for properly maintained operation in moderate conditions. It was efficient, economical, lightweight, perfect for peacetime, inadequate for war. American Jeep was adequately designed for terrible maintenance in extreme conditions. It was inefficient, heavy, expensive, terrible for peacetime, perfect for war. War is what happened. So Jeep was right design. Kübelwagen was wrong design. Not because German engineering was inferior, because German assumptions about operational conditions were wrong. Last reunion of WWII Jeep drivers was 2019. Average age, 97. 62 veterans attended. They gathered at National WWII Museum. Museum had restored Jeep they could sit in. One veteran, Harold Davis, 98, former radio operator in Jeep-mounted communications team, sat in driver's seat and said, "This Jeep looks exactly like mine. Same dashboard, same seats, same steering wheel. Could still drive it. 75 years later, I remember exactly how. That's good design. So simple you never forget." That was lesson of Jeep. Good design isn't most advanced design. Good design is most memorable design. Design so simple that soldier with minimal training can operate it competently. Design so rugged that soldier with no maintenance training can keep it running. German veterans who fought against Jeeps acknowledged this. 1998 Africa Corps reunion. Surviving members interviewed. Asked what American equipment impressed them most. Majority answer, "The little car that went everywhere. We had 8 vehicles for 8 roles. They had 1 vehicle for every role. Their 1 vehicle worked better than our 8. That told us everything about industrial warfare." Klaus Zimmermann, final interview 1976, age 68, said simply, "I examined that Jeep in 1943, drove it 300 miles, wrote report saying Americans had vehicle superiority through simplicity. Report was ignored. By 1945, Americans had 640,000 Jeeps. We had 64,000 vehicles. 10-to-1 advantage. From vehicle that cost $700 to $48. Sometimes simplest solution is best solution, especially when you can build 640,000 of them.